Okay, we're going to talk about the waylinator editor. The first thing to know about the waylinator that I haven't explained is that if you press the big knob, click it, the one that rotates, then you can switch between three different modes. The first mode is normal synth mode. The second mode has the same patches, but many of them are set up for iwi players. And then the third mode is the same as the synth mode. However, it also accepts audio input from the input, and it will blend the audio input with the synthesizers, and you can still control the effects across both. So also, if you hold the knob down and do a long press on the big knob, it'll reset you back to the original patch. So you have to use the editor with your device, you have to connect your device to the editor, and then you have to send commands down to the device. It doesn't change the settings on the device as you change the editor. You have to get this editor into a state and then send something to the device. So to connect to the device, you click connect, and then you should see this daisy seed, which is the device. You connect to it. Now you can click read from device, and if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a log file with whatever's stored on the device sent to your log. You can reset the device. You can back up all your settings to a CSV file. You can restore your settings, and then there are a few different pages. There's the parameters page, the patches page, which allows you to select which patches are running on the device. There's a chord editor, which I'll talk about later, and then there's this licks chord thing. So let's just go through the parameters. So basically, the way this works is you send things to your device, and whatever you send, then if you turn the device on and off, the settings are stored, and then if you wanted to change them, you'd need the editor again to set them back somewhere else. So, and there are some default settings. So, for example, if you move this there, you can get it back to the default value. So here's the Waylo going, and then there are these attack ones. So for example, we can make the attacks long and the release is long, and then click write to device, and then you can see we've made the attacks longer and shorter. So we can set it back to defaults and write to device. Yeah. If you ever get into trouble, something's not working, you can try restarting, powering on and off your device, or you can try disconnecting, connecting. Sometimes that'll help. So that's those ones. You can adjust the speed of the chorus like this. Like we can put this up really high, and then the chorus knob will be much more sensitive and get really wacky. But did it send? I'm not sure. Oh yes, it did. There you go, the chorus is really crazy. Turned the wrong knob. So back to defaults, right to device, and now the chorus is back to normal. So there's a chord volume thing which affects the melody volume versus the chord volume in some of those chord patches. There's a whole bunch of iwi settings. There's some sort of attack settings for the iwi patches, which are mostly legato monosynths with portamento. There's portamento settings. There's bends up and down. You can change how much the bend goes up and down. You can change the minimum filter, the maximum filter, filter sensitivity, the volume sensitivity, and then there's some patches that are editable. There's these iwi patches that are sort of editable waveforms, and there's this other patch of mine which has editable waveforms. Let me see if I can get the find the patch. Maybe it's this patch. Hang on, let's see what happens if I do that. Nope, that wasn't it. No, we've gone a long way, so I'm going to bring it back to the beginning and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. Oh, I know what we have to do. We have to do this. Let's do this. Unselect all patches, and this is the one that's editable, I believe. If we turn that on, and the first one, and write device. Now there's only 2 patches. Right, now I've set. I made it a sine wave, so let's go back to the sine wave. Where's the sine wave parameters? Let's make it something else, like that. Right to device. So this patch has this noise thing. You can add a bit of sort of breath. Let's try that. Relay a bit more maybe. Yeah, that was for EWI players. A bit of breath. So let's go and have a look at some of these other parameters, shall we? There's these rotator patches, so you'd have to read about a Mike Brecker, Robbie Kilgore rotator. I'm going to have to turn some of them on now. So let's do this. Let's do that, and let's turn on just one rotator. How about this one? MIDI rotator. Right to device. So there we go, it's turning on. So there's settings for the rotator. Find them in here somewhere. Yeah, this is this one. So you'd have to read up on how rotators work to know how these work, because you might know better than me. If we change that, how do we send the rotators? We send with this one, I guess. Yeah, we've changed it, so let's make this 14. Yeah, so you can save 5 different rotators, I think, and then do things with it. So they're the rotators, and the EWI patches trigger those rotators too with sort of legato monosynths. So let's try some other patches. Let's have a look at all these chord ones. Is this one, that one, that one, that one, that one? Let's try that. So what happens now? Right, chord sequencer. Chord sequencer is a lick chord. So repeated key presses take you through a chord sequence. It's a bit hard to explain, I'll explain it later. But in different octaves, there's a few of these chord sequences. That's that one. Let's do the next patch. Diatonic chords, it says. So it's just some sort of chord scale type thing. And then I think this one you can transpose the keyboard with the bottom half. Yeah, that's that one. And then we've got some other ones. Fourths, fifth up, up, fourth down. Oh, then there's these two strange pitch bend patches. I'll talk you through these. Pitch bend chords and pitch bend two notes. Let's write these to the device. So the pitch bend chords, if you play a bunch of notes, the last note that you play gets bent by the pitch stick. So let's do another one. So that's that one, and then there's the next patch is the last two notes get affected by the pitch bend. So if you go, and then the bottom note's staying where it is because I played C, D, G. That's that one. And then there's a bunch of like alternative waveforms, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, just different digital waveforms that I made. Let's see what some of them sound like. This one's sort of a DX7. The mod wheel changes the amount of phase modulation. Yeah, it's really sine wavy like that. It's that one. Then there's one that's pretty similar. Dual square chorus delay. Another one. This one's sort of a Waylo FM, it's sort of a custom version of FM. It's my own mathematical algorithm, which is a bit like FM. Yeah, I like it. And then the next patch is that mixed with a pulse wave, I think, something like that. Yeah, another one similar to that.